Hello, everybody. Still getting used to my new computer and new camera here, so bear with me a little bit. But it's time for a long awaited Child's Play 3 movie review. Now, I have no idea and do not understand this. Why a lot of people think this is the worst movie in the entire franchise. I think they're nuts. But everyone's entitled to their own opinion, obviously, you know? I mean, I personally don't get it, but it's far from the worst. I think Child's Play 1, 2, and all the ones named Child's Play are immensely better than anything named Chucky, including Bride Chucky, which was the beginning of the end. I remember I watched that movie in theaters, and the only part I liked was the very, very, very end when the little demonic baby doll pops out. And I was like, oh, that looked really cool. What could they do with that idea? And we all know what happened after that. The Seed of Chucky happened. And yeah, I'll talk about that movie when we get there. Because I get a lot to say about that movie. But back to Child's Play 3. When I was a kid, Chucky was everywhere. I mean, people had the, you know, replica Chucky dolls and My Buddy dolls, and I remember this one kid on the bus used to torture me with the thing because I was I was a little kid. I I admit I was terrified. You know, a lot of people try and act tough. Like, yeah, watch this one. I was 4 and it didn't scare me. Yeah, right. Sure. If you say so. Scared the shit out of me when I was about 7, I want to say. It's surprising my parents actually, well, they didn't know for a while, but they didn't really have a problem with me watching, R-rated movies or anything. Ex- Except one exception, which is kind of random, but The Silence of the Lambs is the only movie that I was not supposed to watch. But they were fine with, Chucky saying fuck every 2 seconds. Although, I do remember watching Child's Play 3 one day at my house with my friend, and, Chucky does what Chucky does, and kept cursing. And he said fuck, and my mom was like, if I hear that word one more time, turning it off. And he said about 20 more times, she never turned it off. So, thank you, Mom. Actually, kind of shaped my views of movies anyway. Ever since I carried Mom, pretty much my favorite movies were horror movies or science fiction. I grew up watching Star Trek: The Next Generation, of course, Quantum Leap, stuff like that, which is really cool. So, I was born in 1982. Child's Play 3 came out 1993. I'm pretty sure. So I was 11 years old. And even then, Chucky still terrified me. Because I remember this happening many times. There was a lot of commercials, trailers for Child's Play 3 back in the day. Like they were everywhere. It seemed like every commercial break on every show, it was at least once or twice that would pop up. And just that scared the shit out of me. Just the, the coming attraction, that the trailer scared the shit out of me. You know. And I'm not sure if this was the first time I watched this. I think I had seen parts of it before, but I hadn't seen the entire movie from start to finish. And but this time, when I was around 7-ish, or around there, um, um, I'm sorry, I was just lost my train of thought for a second. So just the music at the very beginning of the movie terrified me from the very beginning. It was like this military style horror music is the only way I can describe it, really. And if you remember at the end of Child's Play 2, they blew up Chunky's head while he was all melted in plastic, so he was like a big gloop of plastic and like a, little torso sticking out. And at the very beginning of Child's Play 3, this big, like, they show the factory, cobwebs everywhere. Looks like it's been there for who knows how long. And then this, like, chain thing comes down, like one of those candy machines that nobody ever wins, and, goes down, punctures the torso, blood starts coming out of where the thing's stuck in, and, lifts the whole thing up, which is a spooky image to me. And there was this big tub of plastic, and, the claws let go, and all chunky blood and stuff got mixed into the plastic, which then started boiling, and, and it became remade. It was awesome how they did this, by the way, because during the opening credits, it's Chucky, like, plastic. Looks like he's like growing, like his eyes. It looks like there's like blood growing, and it looks like he's growing, but it was like reverse photography. So they like took a doll thing and like melted it down, and then reversed the footage. And I gotta say, it looks awesome. Yeah, to this day, it looks freaking awesome. No, it's practical effects are all the way, man. Nah, CGI can work in some cases, like some of the newer Star Trek movies look pretty good. I think most of that CGI, but most of the time, you can tell it's fake, and it takes me out of it completely. And practical effects too. It takes so much talent to figure out how to do certain things. Like Wes Craven, for example, making a Nightmare on Elm Street. Like the special effects in that movie are incredible, and how they pulled some of them off is crazy. Like building a room upside down like that and nailing stuff to the floor. It's crazy. Nowadays, well, they did with the 2010 remake, which don't get me started on that movie. I don't know what's worse, that or Freddy Dead. They're both absolute trash, garbage, the worst thing I've ever freaking seen. But anyway, back to the Child's Play 3. So, at the beginning, they get these lawyers there, and, Mr. Sullivan, the CEO or owner, maybe it's both, does meeting between him and like lawyers. It looks like one lady says, it outsold all our other toys 2-1, and then another guy said, "No, don't do this. This is a terrible idea." So far, this doll was caught 2 different times now. This doll's been accused of murder, and you want to build more of them? And of course, the sleazy Mr. Sullivan says some like, it doesn't matter what we're selling, cars, nuclear weapons, or even toys. The bottom line is the bottom line. So basically, he's gonna make money no matter what. And he doesn't give a shit. Oh, he even says Andy Barclay's ancient history. And he goes, nobody remembers him. Nobody cares. We care. And the audience cares. And it's funny how Chucky kills this guy. He's got like all this toy shit in his like luxury apartment. So Chucky like spills this uh, jug of marbles. So the guy slips, falls, and then Chucky's got a dart. Hits him like right in like the area where it like kind of paralyzes you, I think. He goes, bullseye. And then he goes up to him and strangles him with a yo-yo. Just like the good old days. It's like a strangulation to get the circulation going. Oh, and right before that, one of the most iconic, best lines from Chucky ever. Don't fuck with the Chuck. I love that. I love Chucky in this movie, by the way. He's some of the funniest. Yeah. While still being extremely evil. Like, the comedy doesn't get ridiculous like it does. Even with Bride of Chucky, it started becoming absolutely ridiculous. And in no way a horror movie. How anyone can call Bride of Chucky a horror movie is beyond me. Because it's not. There's nothing scary about that movie. It's not the worst movie by any means in the franchise or anything. After the first, it's my favorite after the first 3 Child's Plays anyway. So there's that. So off to military school we go. Well, Chucky uses Sullivan's computer to figure out where Andy is. Because he still needs to get his soul into his body. We're still trying to. And he's at a military school. I just noticed this too. There's a few scenes cut out from the DVD/Blu-ray that are actually in the movies on the TV versions. There's a conversation between Andy and maybe friends a small kid there named Tyler, and like on the bus for a couple minutes having a conversation. But that's not in the Blu-ray or DVD, which makes no sense to me. I mean, I get why they did it for the TV because they needed the extra time for commercials. But why take it? Why? Some of those scenes were kind of important, and there was no reason to take them out of the Blu-ray DVD. So I don't know why they did that. It always kind of bothered me a little bit. But so they get so anyway, and the Blu-ray that I have, they show up and they're getting their military haircuts with the crazy ass barber. If you've seen this movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I never even noticed this until I was watching a review of it and somebody mentioned it. Like, Andy and Tyler, sitting in a chair waiting to get called, and behind him on the wall is like pages of people with strands of hair attached to them. Yeah, Well, yeah, really creepy stuff, man. Really creepy, and it's the same guy from it's Kirsty's dad from Hellraiser. Which makes it even weirder and funnier, actually. So then Andy gets to his dorm room, and there's something in the closet banging around. And most people assumed it was Chucky, but no, it was the class kid that got bullied. He was all tied up and shit and shoved in the locker by other people. Probably Sheldon, the main, besides Chucky, the main antagonist, I would say. He's like the Arlie Ermy type guy in this movie. Yeah, there's a few references to that movie in this, which I found funny. Some people didn't find it funny, but I thought it was. So, so I meet Whitehurst. Then what happens? Oh, so Tyler goes to get the mail, and I guess his dad's jet fighter pilot, who, Tyler's waiting for letters from him. He doesn't get any, but he does get a package, a big package for Andy Barkley, the new kid. And since they know each other, he asked the kid to bring it to Andy. And it's obvious it's a Chucky doll just from the package. So Tyler is, starting to walk toward Barkley's place. He drops it down the stairs, and some assholes kick the box, and it tears a little bit, and you see the little footprint, the good guy doll footprint, and his face was like lights up. They saw when they were getting a haircut earlier that there was a commercial on TV for Good Guy dolls, and Tyler was all excited about it. So he obviously really liked them and wanted one. So Tyler takes it, doesn't give it to Andy or tell Andy. He brings it down into the armory for some reason. opens the package, it sits there looking at it for a second, and then all of a sudden Chucky bursts through the freaking package. I don't know how they did this. It was crazy. And Chucky goes, "Who the fuck are you?" Chucky's like, "Where's Andy?" And Tyler's like, "Andy?" And Chuck goes, "He's supposed to get this package. Tampering with the mail is a federal offense." And then Chucky realizes that he has a new body now. So, for his voodoo ritual to work, he just has to tell the first person, the first person he lets in on the secret that he's alive and he's really Charles D. Ray. So that's what he does to Tyler. So now Tyler is just like Andy was in the past few movies. And now Andy has to become like Kyle, the protector, like Child's Play 2. Which I thought was cool. A cool way to do it. I liked it. By the way, the whole military school setting, you know, when I first watched this first few times, it did bother me a little bit, kinda. I can't say why exactly, but the more and more I watched it, less and less it bothered me, and I actually started liking it more because of the different setting. Because the first two are in Chicago. And it's just nice to get a little different setting. And how some people say that it's like the exact same movie as Child's Play. No, it's not. That's because Chucky's not after Andy's soul, he's after Tyler's soul. So Andy has to protect Tyler now. That's not the same. That's not the same at all. So I don't know what their problem. It, Chucky looks just as good as he did in Child's Play 2 here too, and Woos and Brad Dourif, obviously is should get an Oscar for every freaking Chucky movie he does, because it's freaking fantastic. I can't picture anyone else ever filling those shoes. I have not watched the remake, the 2019, I think. I have nothing against it. Maybe someday I'll watch it. I don't know. So anyway,